I'm not gonna lie, recently I was reflecting upon all the mistakes that I had made, and one of the most common patterns that I had is that when things got hard in my life, in my jobs, I called in sick at work and I distanced myself from everybody else. For some reason, whenever I have an altercation with a colleague, I block, I become frozen, and I become afraid to face that situation. Then my impulses drive me to call in sick, to run away, to self-sabotage basically the progress that I've been making. And I've done this quite often in my life. I'm not really proud of it, and it's something that I have a hard time overcoming as it controls me. When it happens, I just stand there and I feel my heart is racing. Time seems like it stops. I feel a rush of blood going to my head. I feel aggression going through my body. And I know that acting on that aggression is not the right thing. So in order for me to make sure that I don't make a stupid decision, I distance myself. But I've been wondering, why is it that I cannot overcome this? So I dug deep into the emotions that I'm experiencing, the rush of blood that rushes to my head, and what other experience have I had before in my life that has led me to this path. This is most likely an unresolved trauma that I've had, and I thought that I'd overcome, but apparently I didn't, because it's most likely linked to me being bullied in the past and not having anyone around me. And when people told me that I wasn't good enough, that hurt me. And in those moments, it feels like I'm being brought back to those situations when that had happened. That brought a spotlight to the issue that I may be facing. But I've had this happen to me even recently, when I thought that I had overcome this, because I'm pretty aware of the situation for a very long time, because it hasn't happened once. It has happened many times in my life, also with friends. Whenever I have a bad time with friends, I just instantly become angry and I distance myself from them and I don't want to talk to them. And okay, I know, I'm afraid of confrontation. I'm afraid of acting. The only thing that I have to do is to face it. And there's fear related to facing it. I feel so much resistance for doing it because I know that I may potentially cry. I may potentially be depressed. I may potentially look like a fool. And perhaps it's those things that I don't want to feel. It's perhaps those things that I don't want to experience, because in my head, it will feel like I am a loser, that I am weak, that I am not as strong as I thought I was. And perhaps it's the perspective that I have related to that I have to change about myself, because this cannot continue to go on for my entire life. To always run away when discomfort appears, then when discomfort appears in the business, when discomfort appears in doing the things that I love, then I will have the same reaction. Because if I cannot already change myself on the other aspects, on the other areas of life, this will start to affect also the things that I love. And it has been affecting the things that I love. How many times that whenever I was dating someone, that whenever they pissed me off, well, not necessarily pissed me off, but they did something that made me experience and feel the same emotions, I would instantly want to distance myself and run away. Lock myself up in a room, not come out, not talk to them, and be very petty related to the situation. I don't want my life to be like this. I don't want my children to be raised with a father who is like this. I don't want my wife to witness this about me, so I have to change it. And recently at work, I had experienced the same situation with a colleague. I felt betrayed by what he did. Basically, he is laughing in front of my face, he's being very friendly, but behind my back, he's talking ill about me. For some reason that pissed me off. It shouldn't piss me off, because me and him, who are we? We're just colleagues. He's nothing to me. But it's not about him. It's about the unresolved issue that I have within me, and that is unattended. And perhaps the child version of me, who is still alive and kicking it and who has this pain, he needs to be healed. And the only way that he can heal it is, I believe, by facing that situation, really standing there and doing it and feeling the emotions and showing him like, hey, little kid, it's fine, it's all right. What you're experiencing right now is not the same thing that you've experienced back then. It's okay. Perhaps this is how life works. Perhaps this is what we have to endure. It's not that big of an issue. And I have to expose myself to that. And that is the way that I believe that we overcome everything in life, is by exposing ourselves to it and by gradually changing our belief system with the exposure, to use our mature mind, our more developed mind, from reading books, from just experiencing life, to then heal the younger version of ourselves. I'm very grateful that I have the self-awareness, because for many years of my life, I didn't have this. I didn't have the self-awareness that this is the issue that is causing me to limit myself from growing. Because this is the thing, I had the thoughts of quitting working the full-time job too early. There's still money that I can save up from working that job, and I want to rush things now because I don't want to experience that situation that I was experiencing at my job. But if I do that, then I shoot myself in my own foot, because then I will have to look for a new job, most likely earn less money than I'm making right now, and delay my growth. So the consequences of me acting on that decision was going to not give me any good rewards in the long term. It was actually only going to make sure that I, in the long term, make less progress. And that's not what I want. So then a mindset popped into my mind. Don't focus on the short-term pains, focus on the long-term rewards. Now, how can I link this to overcoming the situation? Well, if I manage to push myself through this situation, if I manage to push myself through the discomfort that I'm feeling, then in the long term, this will be beneficial to me, because when hardships appear in, for example, the things that I love, like building my business, like recording YouTube videos, then it will be 100 times easier for me to overcome that and to manage those emotions that I'm experiencing. Also, not only that, I will disassociate from the fact that whenever I feel negative emotions, that I have to act on the negative emotions. Just because you feel emotions, just because you feel the pain, doesn't mean that you need to let that rule you. That's the mistake that I've made in the past, is that I've allowed it to rule me. I instantly dedicated my life to following and doubling down on that emotion because it was right. But then again, those emotions fade. Those emotions don't stay. Those emotions will pass as life progresses. A good example of that is I woke up this morning feeling absolutely tired. I was destroyed and I wanted to snooze. But I told myself, because I made my promise last night to myself, that I am going to wake up at 4 a.m. I'm not going to snooze, and I'm going to hop in a cold shower. On the way of getting everything done, of getting out of bed, I felt resistance. I wanted to lay in bed. I felt bad. I wanted to sleep more. I was tired. My mind was telling me, my mind was even calculating, like, if I would sleep 30 minutes longer, then I would have slept a full 8 hours, and then I will have more energy to, like, do you see what my mind is doing? It's giving me rationalizations. It's rationalizing with me and giving me clear, like, it's logical, because it's true. I would have slept 8 hours. I would have had potentially more energy, but I've made the promise to myself that I will do this. So I have to fulfill my promise, because I'm being uncomfortable. And in that uncomfortable moment, my mind is trying to make sure that I am not feeling the pain of the discomfort. So what did I do? I just pushed myself to get out of bed. Then do the next task. The next task was to hop in a cold shower. While I was thinking of the cold shower, my mind was again trying to convince me of not doing it and taking a warm shower first and then gradually going to the cold shower. But it doesn't work that way. The intention that I set for myself last night, after the realization that I've had, is that I have to persevere myself through discomfort. I just have to throw myself into uncomfortable situations so that I can get used to being in discomfort, that my baseline of discomfort grows. Because when my baseline is too low, then everything that is uncomfortable will be too heavy for me. But if I start my day with doing uncomfortable things, then my baseline for the day of overcoming discomfort will be increased, because I've already pushed myself to wake up and get out of bed. I've already pushed myself to hop into a cold shower and to experience that pain. I've already pushed myself to get the work done that I needed to get done for today, which is recording YouTube videos before going to work. So by doing that, I am making sure that I am not focusing on the short-term pains, but instead focusing on the long-term rewards. And undoubtedly that will benefit me, because I can see that it will help me. Because the delayed gratification is that I make progress towards my goals. I make progress towards becoming the greatest version of myself. I make progress towards becoming the man that I want to becoming the father that I want to be the husband that I desire to be the son that I desire to be the businessman and the leader and the motivational speaker that I desire to be. I dedicate my life to not necessarily a role model, but to being a leader and leading by example. And in order for me to fulfill that, I have to lead by example. I have to make my promise and fulfill my promise. And whenever I allow myself to drift away from the promise that I have made, I am being a liar. Then I'm not being a man of my word, and I'm a disappointment to everybody. And this is the pain that I also have to carry with me. I have to carry that responsibility with me. There was nobody else in the past who did that for me. So I had to be that for myself. And now I want to be that for you, so that you can see like, okay, this is what we have to do. Because if I can do it, you can do it as well. Like, I have a fucked up past. Like, I've been smoking weed, I've done drugs, I've went to parties, I have wasted my life. I have not been caring about people. I've been watching porn over and over and over again. I've dated girls that I didn't want to date. I've been inauthentic. I've been a liar. And I'm not proud of all those things, but yet allowing the past to define me wasn't the right thing either. So I had to teach myself to overcome it. I had to teach myself how to be better and to disassociate from those past experiences. And that's the same thing that I have to do with overcoming the pain of the experience that I've had with all the jobs that I've worked, where I stopped working the job because I felt discomfort for a situation. And I'm genuinely afraid of doing it. But the last week that I was at home, I've been reflecting upon the situation constantly, and I just tried to implement the same principle that I use when I mindfulness meditate, and that is to not focus too much on the thoughts and just instead focus on the present moment. What is the opportunity that I have right now that I can do to keep me here and to make me better? Focusing on the past is not going to help me. Focusing on the past is instead going to make sure that I focus on the negative things. But what is the positive that I can take from here? I can perhaps overcome something that I have been struggling with for most of my life. And if I overcome this, that will make me better. That will get me closer towards becoming the man that I want to be. That will get me closer to becoming the father, the husband, the son that I want to be. So I hope you've been able to get some value out of this video. If you want to learn how to make better decisions by managing your emotional behaviors, then click the first link in the description box. I want to wish you a very nice day. And always remember that you are 100% responsible for the results in your life. Make the hard decision today, and I'll see you in the next one. All right? Bye-bye.